afternoon. It's Wednesday at noon, which means it's time for the Rip It Live show on Facebook, where we discuss all things Fastpitch within the Fastpitch community, and where you'll see why more coaches and parents are choosing Rip It as their preferred choice brand. Every Wednesday, you'll get information on college preparations, tips, insights, new product updates, or ideas to help you excel at softball coaching or softball parenting. I'm one of your hosts, Coach Wes. I'm joined by
Amy Wilder.
And we're here for another exciting show today. Today we're privileged to be joined by two high school coaches, one from the public school sector and one from the private school sector. We welcome Coach Ray Whobry from the St. Cloud Lady Bulldogs.
Hi.
And Coach J.D. Wood from the Windermere Prep Lady Lakers. Welcome, gentlemen. Before we get to the questions for the coaches, Amy will let us know about the prize winners from last week and the new prize being given away this week.
So last week's winner of the Rip It backpack. This is our Rip It backpack is Danielle Dershbach Taylor. We will be in contact so we can get that prize to you. And this week's promotion is going to be our Rip It hat, Rip It visor, and Rip It headband. So remember to like, share, and tag coaches, players, and parents so that you can be entered into the drawing for that Rip It prize pack.
Great. And congratulations again, Danielle, on winning the backpack.
Now, we also wanted to mention that Rip It donated for Jones High School 4 Fielders face masks to wrap out our face mask awareness.
Excellent.
And those will be delivered to them sometime this week.
Awesome. That's great. That's great. Great community involvement there. Great community involvement. Okay, so we're going to get to business with the coaches we brought on. We're excited because this is really our first show where we've actually brought on high school coaches to talk about their programs, talk about how they prepare, what they do, and we have a variety of questions for them. And we'll start by asking both of you guys, Coach Ray and Coach JD, when do you start preparing for your softball season?
2 weeks after school ends.
2 weeks.
Yeah. We don't give them much break. We just we give them 2 weeks, and I know a lot of the girls go play travel ball too, but we get them right back in the weight room. They usually work out 3-4 days a week, and then we get them back on the fields too.
Wow, so it's quite early. So
Yeah.
You're thinking of a year ahead almost.
Yeah.
And how about you, Coach JD?
Same kind of factor. As soon as graduation hits, the girls get a week off, and then they're back into the weight room. We have full-time strength and conditioning coach, and he gets after them. So we have a chance to get them on the field and just kind of, they're doing also their travel ball, but it's good to get those fielding techniques and batting techniques in. So it's a busy summer.
Interesting. How's that changed? Has that changed over the past several years in terms of the high school commitment, post-high school season?
It has for me. I know starting high school about 8 years ago when I took over at the St. Cloud, we really didn't have that total commitment of the girls, but the last 2-3 years, they've all been wanting to do better because we want to go further in state, and we're blessed at our school because we actually have an Olympic coach that does all the weight training.
Oh, very nice.
So with Coach on out there doing that, and they see the difference when they're in the weight room. So, and that's just easier once they see the improvements that they have with their hitting and stuff, with the power, then it's easier to give into the weight room.
What is your mix of travel ball playing girls to girls who haven't played travel ball, who have done it more recreationally?
I would say our mix probably at the high school is probably a 50-50 mix.
Okay.
50 travel ball, 50 not. With the travel ball though, if they're playing travel ball, chances of starting for our high school is a lot greater.
Right.
Okay. But I have a couple girls that don't play travel ball that are actually starting this year. So, and one's being looked at a couple schools that she'll be interested in going up north to maybe go play college ball without the travel ball, which doesn't happen very often.
See, the difference for public to private is I've got middle schoolers who play varsity. So
Right.
with the travel ball,
Sure.
that gets them acclimated to playing, say, tournaments that are 16U or 18U, and it gets them prepared for them when they get to the varsity level. So I'm thrusting them into those positions, but there again, I pull back on the reins. If, say, the girl doesn't feel like she's ready to take that leap into varsity sector, I'll probably bring her on, but I'll bring her on as a sub, just to
Right.
basically give her a walkthrough on, not throwing her into the fire. But I've got a lot of girls coming into the private sector that have already played travel ball, and they're looking at a national travel ball team, and they're already beginning to take the stages of full-time pitching coach, hitting coach, full strength training.
Right.
They're ready for that varsity level, they're ready for the competition.
I know we talked about the spring season, but to me, the fall season has changed since I was coaching at Windermere Prep. Back in the day, we played a doubleheader for 4 weeks in a row in a little tournament, and that was the extent of mostly the fall season. But now I'm noticing that the players are in, like you said, in the gym, working out with their teams 4 or 5 days a week, plus playing once a week at least, maybe twice in the fall. So do you notice that change as well in the last few years? At some schools, may not be everybody, but at some schools.
I know at St. Cloud, probably the last 5 years, we've probably been in a fall ball program. We do, again, we still do the weightlifting 3-4 times a week. They have, usually most of my girls have the travel ball twice a week. So we practice once a week as a fall ball team, like on Monday, because most travel ball practice on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then we have Wednesday games, and usually the Wednesday games are double headers. I personally like the fall because it doesn't give us, when we go to spring, we have our tryouts. We don't have much time to do the tryouts, and we don't really see the true aspects of what the girls' talent they have. So I use the fall for my spring, the evaluations of everything. So, not all girls can play the fall, which is fine, but especially incoming freshmen, because we don't know a lot about the incoming freshmen.
Sure.
So the ones that are coming in, we get to evaluate them a lot earlier and see how they, how they act with a good high school. Because you got to remember, these freshmen coming in are only 14 years old generally, 13, 14, and they're playing with 18s.
Right.
So,
Sure.
there's a big difference. The
Big lineup,
maturity level of them are a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
different too, so.
Yeah.
And that's why I like the fall ball.
What are each of your big district rivalry games now? What's developed recently?
For us, it's Cornerstone TFA. Cornerstone was runner-up last year in 3A, so they have put our district on the map, and they're still a contender to deal with. Masters Academy is a huge one for us. Those three, Faith Christian's kind of in there, in that mix, but building a program and building a schedule that, now that we have dabbled in the 3A community, we want to start building up towards the bigger schools and have them come out, see what Windermere Prep, and us to get a chance to see what 7 and 8, 9, 8, softball's all about, because that's where you're gonna get the meat and potatoes of
I
softball.
was actually looking forward to a game last week. You were supposed to play West Orange.
We actually are supposed to play Olympia this past Tuesday and got rained
Oh, was
out.
it
and
Olympia? Okay, I
it-
thought it was
Yeah.
West Orange. I thought it was West
Yeah, that
Orange.
was us.
That's too bad, because I would like to see how that.
And I'm not a weatherman, I just took a hunch, but it was, it's,
Yeah.
we probably could have played, but it was,
Yeah. Coach Ray, what about you?
Windermere just came into our district last year, and unfortunately, we're only gonna have this year left because of the way the high school's going with the different districts next year and stuff. But I can see that's gonna be a great rival this year. Young, talented team, they gave us fits last year in the district championship. But our more rivals are our conference teams.
Right.
Yes.
Like Osceola, that's, we don't wanna lose to them, they don't wanna lose to us. And that's been a rival between the two high schools for years and years. So, and then Harmony. And the reason why Harmony was a big rival is because St. Cloud split into Harmony.
I see.
So they took a lot, it'd be like probably Windermere and West Orange now, and I'm sure that would be a big rival too.
Right.
So, but it's
It's fun too to watch the rivalries
Yes.
shift, because like Olympia and West Orange used to be really big, right? They used to have the border game. Hostile. Now it's kind of moved to Olympia DP have a big rivalry
Yeah.
because they're so close, and a lot of kids that go to middle school together end up making the split.
Yeah.
So it's literally playing the kids you grew up with.
that's how it is for us. Windermere Prep's 10 minutes from Windermere.
Right,
And we have
right.
Windermere on our schedule, and it's those kinds of games that you wanna create, because most of these kids, like to your point, have played together
Right.
growing up, so it's
Yeah.
interesting to see them evolve into who they are now.
Right, which can be great, it can
Yeah.
also be a detriment, because if you've played with these girls
Correct.
forever, I know that my two girls are, like, they're constantly watching each other's games
Mhm.
when they're not playing their own games, and so they're taking notes, like,
Yeah.
because they're gonna have to play each other at some point this season, so.
And that's
Yeah.
that's
That's
what
what leads to my next question. So how do you prepare, how does it impact your players when you have these rivalry games or playoff games, when they get into the playoffs and you have to play them? Does the intensity level just grow immensely and, you know?
Yeah, I think for Windermere Prep, the girls are so focused on better competition. When they do see other teams and other players that they've played with in the travel ball ranks, but yet they've played them through growing up, it inspires them to be more of a, you know, it escalates the level of the game. And that's where the rivalries are created, is when you begin to start waving over to a girl that you've played with for, say, 5-6 years, and now all of a sudden games are more significant because of the mere fact it's just not a tournament. It's
Right.
your record, your win-losses, bragging rights, you know,
You're
it's,
playing for your school, your
yeah,
team,
you're playing for your school, community, all that. So it gets ramped up.
Yeah.
And it starts with us.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because I tell the, you know, my girls, listen, we're not gonna lose. And
Right.
I said, take that seriously, we're not gonna lose. But it all they get excited.
Sure.
We're excited, they're excited. And like JD just said, it doesn't matter what your record is. When it's a rival game,
Yes.
you can be 0-15
Mhm.
playing against 15-0 team,
Doesn't matter.
and it doesn't matter, okay? We've been in there a couple of times. We're playing Harmony for a district title, and we were young and really had no business playing against them because they had these elite athletes, and we almost pulled out the upset. That was probably one of the best games I've been involved in a long, long time. So it was great. Just the girls, they're amped. They're just ready to play.
Red Sox and Yankees have a.
Yeah.
Oh.
Every time they play, it doesn't matter
Yeah.
who's better and who's not.
Yeah.
Packers, Bears,
Rabbit fans, the Packers, Bears,
Mhm.
things like that.
Yeah.
Same thing. And you know, I know you guys both have a rabid fan base.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
But they're pretty active. Okay, now what do you guys do to prepare your players for their college years of softball? Because I know you all have players who are going to go on to play in college. And I know travel ball does a lion's share of that sort of process, but high school plays a role as well. What do you guys do for those players? Because the discrepancy is significant between your college recruited players and your kids who haven't played at the
We-
same level.
And what happens too, and I tell a lot of girls, the difference really to me between a travel ball team and a high school team, the high school team's more like going to college. We see the girls 5-6 days a week. We put them in the weight room. We monitor their grades, because that's most important. You know, we have a rule, if your grade's not at a certain place, you don't play that week.
Right.
So you better maintain those grades or you're not gonna play. All the girls know that. So we monitor the grades and again, they're in the weight room. So what we teach them is their time management skills that they're gonna need in college. Because our girls, I don't practice my team until 6 o'clock at night. So they get out of school at 2:20. They go and hit the weight room at 4:15. They're in the weight room for about an hour and a half, 15 minutes. Then I get them at practice. So they have a small window to learn to do their schoolwork between school's out, weight room, or practice in bed. And so, and that's the same thing they're gonna see in college. So, and I think that time management skills that we teach them at that age is probably the most beneficial for them.
Absolutely.
Well, and to his point, it's that time management is what's the most seriousness of how these girls are going to be accepted at the next level and how they're going to do as far as an athlete.
Right.
Having the time to do your academics and having your time to be that athlete, they have to coexist with one another. I have a girl that, my first baseman, that's going to West Point this year, and she's an IB student, and it's first time a girl's ever gotten in at Windermere Prep, and it's those, right now, she's in that mix, like, she's got a ton of stuff that's due, or papers, or tests, but yet the demands of West Point right now that she's been accepted, that's on the table also. Like, she's got a dinner tomorrow night
Yeah.
that she's gotta be at, so,
Right.
you know, that, where is that conflicting with a game that we have tomorrow night? It's, those kinds of things, you have to really look at them, you have to tell them, you've gotta balance that, you've gotta be able to do both, and have the time to do both to be successful.
Do you, have any college coaches ever come to any of your games?
Um,
And for more, I mean, again, those showcase tournaments, travel teams there, you see the bulk of the college coaches there, but I've noticed that more college coaches are popping into high school games too, especially good games.
We get a couple here and there. Most of the recruiting, we all know, is really through travel ball. But, like, we have one girl that's heavily recruited by, University of North Florida. And they actually came to watch one of our rival games, and they saw Court play, and that's when they offered Court the scholarship. But we do tournaments too. Like the Kissimmee Classic, we get a lot of college teams will come, coaches will come watch us play there. The Bartow tournament champion, same thing there. The difference between us and like Georgia plays in the fall.
Mhm.
So they get blessed where they get a lot of college people, coaches to come watch their high school. We're in season at the same time as college is in the season, so it's harder for them to actually come watch us.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's hard. That's a hard one.
And just remember to like, share, and tag your friends, family, coaches, parents, so that you have a chance to win our prize pack for next week. And Coach West, do you have any more questions?
Yeah, also keep it public.
Yeah, make sure it's public so that we can see who you're sharing it with, otherwise we can't enter you into the draw.
One of the more controversial questions.
Yes.
What is your position on travel hires in the high school season? Obviously, Travis will know. Some saying yes. How do you guys feel? Anybody knows those reasons for feeling like it's understand.
I guess I'll ask you first. Mine, varsity level is no.
Right.
And just simply because with the schedule is in the district history, you want seats first, we can't force it. So, and that's my main concern. JV, usually that's your freshmen or sophomores. During JV, I don't have a lot of going to travel ball, because they get to play in the tournaments. A lot of the travel ball doesn't happen at APU or high school level during spring, I guess you want to say. There's still some out there, but not as much, so that's not too much of an issue, but I just, no. I mean, it's just, that's my philosophy.
So my perspective is the flip side. I'm no during the season, but with that being said, I've got 6th, 7th, and 8th graders playing. So they're at the varsity level. They've got these games on the weekends that basically they've already committed to. They're already involved. The parents are already involved. There's money, spent. I don't like it. I cringe. But at the end of it, if a girl is a 6th grader, which I do, I have 2 6th graders that start for me. They both play in travel ball. I have a 7th grader that plays also. It also gets them involved to stay regular on the varsity level. The 2 young 6th graders are beginning to get their feet wet in the varsity level, and they're able to hang, but it's also, you're playing against your own peers in travel ball. You're not playing at varsity level, you're playing against 16, 17, 18-year-olds, and that's a huge step when you're a 13-year-old or a 12-year-old looking at a 17-year-old pitcher who's throwing all over the plate and's got you baffled.
Right.
So,
And one thing too, what I worry about too is burn.
absolutely.
Because,
Yeah.
we're blessed to live in Florida.
Mhm.
We're blessed that the girls can play all year round.
Right.
So there is several times during the season, like in the fall, like I personally will give them off from November all the way till tryouts. Just because I know travel ball's still working them, So I worry about being burned.
Sure.
And our season is 4 months, basically. And, you're practicing 5 days, practice with games 5 days a week. and then if you do a weekend tournament, now you're at 7 days.
Yeah.
And,
And five more games.
yeah, and if you'll, yeah, or more, you
Doing
know.
4 on one
Yeah.
day and 3 on the other,
Yeah.
and it's about
So
time.
I worry about the burnt factor
Sure,
too.
that makes sense, especially pitchers,
Yeah.
arms.
Mhm.
There's only so many innings left in those arms, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good content. Now, tell us some of the standout players you both coached over the years, or coaching now. Because I know you both have interesting stories, and I've been around both of your situations, and I know you've had some college level players play for you, and we can go through a few of them each that you coached or are coaching today.
I've been very blessed, actually. A lot of the girls I coach at young ages that moved on to bigger travel ball teams, or I had Lily Mann that's actually playing for Florida right now. Callie Jones, who's playing for UNC Wilmington. Courtney Winslow, who actually went to UNF, University of North Florida. Probably one of the most gifted hitters I've ever seen. And I have 2 right now that I'm very proud of. I'm proud of all my girls, but one's going to University North Carolina, Charlotte, and she's been recruited by them for about the last couple of years. So she's a senior. She gets to move on. Her name's Ariana Manzanares. We call her Nana. And then my pitcher I have, Alyssa O'Donnell. I'm happy for her. She's going to go to Florida Southwestern and go play for Robert over there, who a lot of people in the softball world know that when he was a high school coach and a travel coach, he coached Jackie Trina, and who and his daughter went to Alabama, also with Jackie. Alyssa, once she hones a little bit more on her skills, she's going to have her doors wide open. She's going to go play for Robert over there.
Excellent.
For me, we're young, so I got a lot of youngsters, and I've got, this will actually be my first senior class. So I've got Grace Bennett, my first baseman, who's going to West Point. First, girl in Windermere Prep history to actually get into West Point. So I kind of had a hand with my military background in doing that. But then I've got Mia Williams, and everybody knows Mia. She was committed as a 7th grader to Florida. Unbelievable talent. Just absolutely crushes the ball. Great fielder. Got a good head on her shoulders. And then, I've got a pitcher, Lexi King, who's young, but she's going to be on the map. I've got a lot of young girls that are going to be on the map coming up here shortly.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Well, remember also moms, Ribbit has a private Facebook group for us. Hope to see you there. Just search Softball Mom Squad and click on the link and comment, and you can share your mom stories as well. And I want to thank everybody for just remember to please like, comment, share, and make sure it's public so that we can grow the game of softball. We want to also congratulate Jessica Mendoza. I know you guys heard that the Mets picked her up as their baseball operations advisor, and what a fantastic thing for our girls to see their softball careers transcending. And kudos to the Mets for taking that first leap and putting her in their front office. So we really want to say congratulations to Jessica Mendoza. Wes, you have our Rip It High School Heroes
Yes.
for this week.
It's been a banner week for the Rip It High School Heroes. A lot more calls, a lot more information being funneled in. I think people are catching on to what we're trying to do. And again, please let us know if you got some good information, great performances, big rivalries, upsets. We'd love to know. We'll talk about them on the show. So a longer list than I had last week. Kayla Mayo from Lake Mineola had 3 home runs and 2 triples in the last week. It's a big week. Taylor Ramos of Lake Brantley went 3 for 4 for Seminole High School. Naya Vogel pitched a poplar to a 1-0 win over Montverde. Pitched a complete game shutout with 16 strikeouts. Montverde's not a bad team. So nice job on Naya there. Rachel Trockey continues to be strong in the Dr. Phillips circle. 3 no-hitters so far this year. Struck out 13 her last game versus Freedom. Big numbers. Eiley Schick of Dr. Phillips went 4 for 4 with 5 RBIs in the win over Cypress Creek. Gracie Lopez, Dr. Phillips, 2 for 4 with 2 runs scored, 2 RBIs, and 2 stolen bases. Yeah, and that's if you're playing Moneyball, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good stats when you're playing Moneyball. They went over to Cypress Creek. Mariana Alamani, a junior from TFA, has started season strongly as well with 3 home runs already. We talked about Mia Williams.
Yeah.
Ready for prime time in grade 8.
Prime time.
The early college commit player for the Florida Gators has hit 4 home runs already for the Windermere Prep Lady Lakers. Bailey Fernandez, a Lynn University commit, continues to tear it up early with a 650 batting average and 9 RBIs. Gigi Rodriguez and Delaney Carnell from your team, St. Cloud, and with the Panthers last week, they had a home run and 4 RBIs each, which was nice for those two.
Yep, absolutely.
And of course, newly developed crosstown rivalry, we talked about rivalries earlier in the show. Windermere High played West Orange last week, and Windermere High lasted West Orange and beat them 3-2.
And I think extra innings.
It was extra innings, yes,
Yeah.
and they somehow found a way to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Huge win, signature win for Windermere High over perennially strong champs from West Orange, but I wouldn't count West Orange out just yet.
Tide could be changing.
They know how to, you could see it, you could be changing of the guard, but I wouldn't count on yet, they know how to win,
Yes,
win
they
2
do.
state titles and get to the 3rd one in the finals.
Yeah,
There's a culture.
For nothing, so, we'll see how the season plays out over there, and also there's a big game tonight, Lake Brantley versus Apopka, a battle of 2 undefeated teams. So this should be a real good test.
A lot of great things to watch this
Yeah,
week
yeah,
coming up.
So things to do, and a little shout out for Lena Wallace over at Fort Myers, who hit her first home run, and I'm not sure it was her first collegiate home run, but certainly her first home run. But judging by the response of her mother in the stands when I saw the video, it looked like it might have been her first home run. I hope her mom's recovering from voice loss,
Those are the ones that are special.
and it was a kind of a special, so I want to give her a special shout out as well.
Like I said, remember to like, tag, and share our feed here. Make sure it's public so that we can see that you're sharing it, so you can win the prize pack. On next week's show, March 13th at 12 o'clock, we're going to do a high school player perspectives with some of our players. So we've had the coaches in. Next week we'll get some player perspective and, see what they're doing as far as their recruiting process at different levels.
Yeah, we want to thank Coach Ray and Coach JD from St. Cloud and from Windermere Prep for coming in and joining us and providing us great
Thank you,
insight
guys.
on
Appreciate
their
It was
it.
fun.
programs, their experience, how they prepare for the season, what they look for in players, and like I said, and their expectations going forward. I mean, certainly appreciate you being our first coaching guys.
Thanks for
on the
having
show.
us.
We hope to have more coming in, but we certainly appreciate the first ones. And for everybody out there, well, we want to thank you for joining us. Please like, comment, and share to promote the growing sport of softball in the community as we continue to promote the Rip It brand in the softball world. We will see you next week on Rip It Live on Facebook.
Have a great day.